Hello, Cougar Nation, and welcome to the home finale for Cougars men's volleyball for the 2025 season. Cougars taking on the Dominican University Stars in the Division Street rivalry right here for some Wednesday night volleyball in an important match with implications for both teams. Dominican, one of those top teams in the conference. They're looking to close. They're looking to pick up the highest seed they can in the upcoming playoffs. Cougars looking to work their way towards clinching the playoffs. And I mean, for the Cougars, this is a game. They're underdogs, but they have also been very, very hot lately, Eric.
Oh, 100%. Dominican's got the better record, but the Cougars are on fire. They have won 5 matches in a row. They have the momentum firmly on their side. They are feeling it. They are making that final push, like you said, for a playoff spot.
Yeah, like when the Cougars, 4 wins in a row, 3 of those in conference, all of them against important must-win games against other teams in the bottom of that conference. But as we come into tonight's game, who's your player to watch for both teams?
For me, I think for the Cougars, you got Tyler Hollaback. He has been their main offensive force so far. In the last game against Lakeland, he had 15 kills. He's definitely the big player for them. For Dominican, I think you got Ty Geschke. He's been their big Thai offensive force. He had 13 kills in their 3-set loss against MSOE.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's something we'll get to later, but another thing with that Dominican University team is their front line. They have a lot of guys led by Hirsch on that front line who have been very strong. Lots of blocks at the line, great defense there. So let's spin right off into that. What's your key to the game for the Cougars tonight?
Well, you're talking about that front line. That's my key to the game for the Cougs. The Cougar front line has been kind of hit or miss this season. They need to be able to go toe-to-toe with this Dominican front line. The Dominican front line is lethal. You have players with 35 blocks, 31, 30, 29, 29. The Cougar front line today needs to be able to compete with that if they want to beat Dominican.
Yeah, and you mentioned there that Cougar front line's been inconsistent. Another thing that's been inconsistent over this year, in the last couple years for the Cougars with a lot of these players, is the backline defense for this Cougars team. Concordia Chicago's backline, it's an important part. Anything that gets past the front line, that backline needs a step. It's not just defense, it's passing, it's when you get that third hit back there, how accurately can you get over? How well can you get it over? The Cougars, that's something that I picked up on. Players like Marcin Hoffman, who used to struggle in that area, have been locked down in that area over this hot streak for Concordia Chicago. That's something the Cougs need to focus on in tonight's game. But a quick look at the history between these two squads before we get going tonight. Cougars 1-7 against Dominican in an 8-match history again in the Division Street rivalry for men's volleyball. That last win coming up 2 years ago in 2023 right here in River Forest. But we're getting ready to go for the River Forest Division Street rivalry. Cougars looking to work their way towards clinching the playoffs. Dominican trying to clinch a higher seed. That game's coming up right here on the Cougar Sports Network. Don't go away. What's up, Cougar Nation, and welcome to the Division Street rivalry. It's the home finale for the Cougars, the road finale for the Dominican Stars. And for both of them, it's taking place right within the confines of the village of River Forest. Dominican taking a stroll over from the west side to the campus of Concordia to take on the Cougars in their final road game of the season. These two teams, different stories in their years so far. The Stars in conference play, they have been very good, and that's what you'd expect from the reigning NAC champions, both regular season and tournament. Dominican 8-2 in conference on the season, currently sitting in that 4 seed of what's a very top-heavy conference. The Cougars 5-5 on the year. They've won 3 conference games straight. Concordia has been hot. They'll look to stay hot and pull off the home upset over the Stars as they look to clinch a trip back to the playoffs, which would be their second trip in the team's history, their first trip since 2023. As these teams get ready to go over on Dominican side, Owen Morrow, Nathaniel Castiglione, Ty Geschke, Tanner Dahman, Michael Greco, Thomas Hirsch. Your starting 6 on the Cougars end: Alexander Ford, Tyler Hollebeck, Marcin Hoffman, Eli Mosher, Van Gato, Jackson Sella, and Leon Gudzowski. Your top 6 for the Cougars tonight. And like we mentioned, this is a very, very top-heavy conference, Eric. Dominican at the 4 seed with an 8-2 record. Above them, Benedictine at 8-2, MSOE at 9-1, Aurora at 9-1. Dominican's only 2 losses are to Aurora, which is a nationally ranked squad, and then a tough sweep in their last game at MSOE. So this is a Dominican team coming off of a loss. So they're favored. They're looking to get back in the win column. They need a win tonight if they want any hope of getting into that top 2. And also at securing that 3 spot over Benedictine as well. The Cougars, it's a top-heavy conference. The bottom of that conference is very tight as well. 4 teams with 5 wins filling out that 5 through 8 spot in the standings, and then 2 squads with 4 wins. The Cougars, a win today or on Saturday, would likely clinch the playoffs as we get going here. Eli Mosher serves. Gato passes to Mosher. There's Gudzowski. That's saved. Set up by Morrow. And there's the first kill of the night for Ty Geschke. He's been the top man on the season for the Stars, and he comes out big to start tonight. It's a 1-0 lead Dominican.
Yeah, Geschke's been that main offensive figure for the Stars. He was their main player in the loss against MSOE. He had 16 kills for the Stars in that match.
Mosher sets for Gudzowski, and it catches the line. Far as it can get for Leon Gudzowski. Cougars, their first point of the night.
That was a fantastic hit by Gudzowski, finding the back corner. The Stars watched it go. They thought it was going to be out for sure.
It's now J.R. Stella back to serve it up for the Cougs. And that's out. Stella barely misses on a coast-to-coast shot. That sends it back to 2-1 and back over to Dominican. Owen Morrow dropping back to serve.
Cougars have struggled with errors at times this season. They're hoping to keep that down tonight if they want to be able to beat the Stars.
Kill number 2 on the night. Leon Gudzowski puts it to a tough spot. Looked like a little bit of a trip on the back row, too, from Morrow. And we're still even early. Now it's going to be Gudzowski's turn to serve himself. Gets it across, received by Verska. Now Gudzowski receives, but it's over and out. So these two teams continue trading points. It's back to 3-2, and it's back over to Dominican.
And so far, these have been 2 very evenly matched teams. Dominican's definitely the better team on paper, but like we've been saying, the Cougars are hot. They've won 5 in a row. They've got momentum. They can feel it.
Geschke serves it across. Mosher sets for Hollebeck. Kill number 1 on the night for Tyler Hollebeck. Hollebeck, he has been the backbone of this Cougars offense, especially in the conference season. Second in the conference in kills per set with 3.88. Now Morrow sets that up for Geschke from the back row. And they're going to tag Geschke for going into the net. Cougars had it saved anyways, but I mean, that was a tough play to make from Geschke. And if you can get that backline rush, the decoy in front. If that play works, it works very well, but you do run that fine line of risking it going into the net. And the Cougars force another error. Dominican miscommunicates, and Concordia out to their first lead of the day.
That's uncharacteristic out of Dominican. They're usually a very clean team. They play very clean volleyball.
And right as you say it, another error for the Stars. Cougars on a 3-0 run. 5-3 Concordia. Morrow serves for Geschke, and he's had enough of it. That's going to head back over to Dominican. It's 6-4. It's still 6-4 Cougars, but Stars have control back.
Good
Ryan
play.
Barnett dropping back to serve.
Good play by Geschke to just get a point for the Stars and stop the bleeding.
Gato sets for Mosher. Now Hoffman from the left side blocked. Gato passing over to Mosher. Mosher goes himself. That's tip. So Morrow will set right to Thomas Hirsch. No one covering the middle of the court for Concordia. That's Hirsch's first kill on the night. Dominican back within one.
There was a wide open hole in the center of the floor, and that's exactly where Hirsch put the ball.
Barnett across. Now Mosher sets for Ford. A little tipper. That's saved. And into the net goes Morrow. Couldn't save it cleanly. And the Cougars back out to a multi-possession lead. They lead 7-5.
Good play from the Cougars so far in the early stretch of set number one.
Hoffman back to serve now for Concordia. Sends that across. Morrow sets for Hirsch. Awkward hit. Cougars keep it up. Now Hollebeck from the right side. And that's into the pin.
Hollebeck was trying to go with just a big power shot there. Had the big windup. Just didn't get it quite over the net.
Dropping back to serve now is Castiglione, the senior out of Woodridge, Illinois. Tosses up, jumps that across and straight into the net. That had some gas. Is going at a downward angle the whole way. Just too much on top of it. Back over to the Cougars' direction. 8-6. Ford back to serve it across, and Ford, he's a strong arm for this Cougars service line. Geschke receives. Morrow sets for Hirsch. Another one for Thomas Hirsch.
Good shot by Hirsch. He saw that Ford was in the back line there, but had a bit of a gap on the far side, and he made sure to get it just right where Ford wasn't able to reach it.
Back to serve now is Tanner Dahmen. Dahmen, one of those top offensive guys for Dominican, yet to make an impact tonight. That serves straight back from Hollebeck. That's set up for Geschke, blocked and tipped out. And we are back even at 8-8.
Just when it seems like one team's got momentum, the other team takes it right back. Now it's going to be up to the Cougars to try to stop the Stars' momentum.
I will say on Dominican's end so far, it looks like they've had that control of the front line, and that's what we talked about. One of those big battles these teams are going to be looking to get control of early on. As Mosher sets up for Hollebeck, mid-range floater, too much angle on it. That's out to the left. Dominican back in front, 9-8.
You can tell Hollebeck was trying to catch the Stars off guard. There was just a light little tap over the net, trying to clip the line. Unfortunately, just angled it a little bit too much to the left.
Back to serve is Dahmen. 1 point lead for Dahmen as he gets that across. Received by Gato. Mosher sets up for Stella. Has to reach back for it. Gonzowski keeps it up. Mosher sends it across. And a dump off from Morrow. Again, no one from the Cougars covering the middle of the court. And Dominican, their first multi-possession lead of the night. They crack double digits. It's 10-8.
Stars have just gone on a 4-0 scoring run there. They've been cleaning it up and just hitting the spots on the floor that the Cougars have left open.
Dahmen sends it across off the net. Hoffman receives. Mosher chases back. Hoffman, mid-range, pushover. Now Morrow sets for Hirsch. Another one for Thomas Hirsch. The Cougars have been leaving the middle of the net open, and Hirsch has been capitalizing. It's 11-8 Dominican, and we get our first timeout of the night from Greg Manos.
Yeah, Manos felt like he had to call a timeout. Stars have gone on a 5-0 scoring run. Cougars were off to a hot start, but then all of a sudden, Dominican just flipped the script on them and has gone on a big run of their own.
Let's timeout you have to call. This is a Cougars team that they're still young. It's something they've shown historically under Manos, not just this year, but last year as well. And it's not necessarily Manos' fault. It's more on that young team. It's something he's had to continue to work with these guys. They're very streaky, and they're very momentum-based. Once they fall behind, they've struggled to get back into it in past games. Over this hot streak, they haven't. That's been the big difference. They've been able to stay out of it, but they've also been able to avoid those big slides as well. That's what Manos is trying to do here. Kill off that big slide, and also don't let the momentum get to his team. Keep them on their toes. Don't let them start pressing, miscommunicating, and making more mistakes. Have them come out of timeout hot and start clawing those points back.
Yeah, similar to what you were saying, the Cougars have a very young team. Outside of the grad student Tyler Hollaback and the junior Van Gato, most of the players are freshmen or sophomores, so you just have to learn to not get rattled when the other team starts to land the shots.
Back to serve is Daman once more. He'll toss that up, send that across. And that just catches the back line. Miscommunication between Gato and Hoffman. 4-point lead for the Stars. The kick line comes out for the first time tonight.
Definitely not what the Cougars wanted to see coming out of that timeout.
Daman tosses it up, sends it across once more. Gato receives. This time it's straight back over. There's Verska, and now Geschke to the back line. Mosher, he sets up for Stella. Good save from Verska. Now Geschke from the far side, off of Gato's face to the floor, making a 7-0 run for Dominican.
Geschke has hit a massive shot right at Gato, and Gato really couldn't do anything. He was in position. The ball was right at him. He just didn't have time to react.
The 5-point lead. Daman drops back to serve once more. Serves up. Received by Gato. Mosher sets for Gudzowski. Another one for Leon Gudzowski. Verska can't field it cleanly that time. That's off his elbow into the bleachers. Cougars back on the right side of the scoreboard with Mosher dropping back to serve.
And that's a big point for the Cougars. Big hit by Gudzowski. Finally, the Cougars break the Dominican scoring run and have possession for the first time in a while.
Mosher tosses up, sends it across and out. Second serve tonight. The Cougars haven't been able to straighten up. Back to a 5-point lead. We'll see Thomas Hirsch serve for the first time tonight.
And if you're in a game where you're trailing by a lot, you don't want to give the other team, especially a team as good as Dominican, free points.
Hirsch sends that across. Gato to Mosher, sets up Stella, blocked at the line and into the bleachers. Cougars communication starting to slip a bit. They're now trailing by 6 as Hirsch drops back once more.
And that's just another example of that dominant Dominican front line.
Hoffman to Mosher, too far from Hoffman. Greco's there to clean it up, make it a 7-point lead for the Stars. It's 16-9. Hirsch across, received by Gato. Mosher sets for Hollaback. Finally, the Cougars back on the right side. Tipped off of Hirsch, can't field it cleanly. Stella will drop back to serve. And Stella served out of bounds his last time at the line. Looking to straighten it out with this one. And he will. Morrow for Geschke. Geschke tried to get tricky with it. Set was in front of him. That's a block for the Cougars. Up to 11 for Concordia. Deficit down to 5.
Geschke tried to catch the Cougars off guard with, like you said, a bit of a trick play, but just didn't get the timing right on his hit.
Stella across. Morrow, tough set for Geschke. Blocked, but out.
It's a good play by the Cougar front line to stand up to the Dominican front line. Unfortunately for them, instead of landing in the lines, it just went straight out.
Cougars front line struggling to work those angles tonight as Morrow sends that across. Gato to Mosher, sets up Hollaback, and that's off the elbow of Verska. Couldn't get out of the way. Nice response from the Cougars off the serve, and Gudzowski back to serve once again.
Yeah, after giving up that big run by the Stars, Cougars are now just kind of trading points back and forth with them.
Godzowski across, Verska to Morrow. Sets up Castellion. Now Hollabeck over to Hoffman, that's tipped. Passed up by Damin, Morrow for Geschke. Mosher to Cardenas, over to Hollabeck, a floater! Miscommunication gets him. Castellion tried to save it, didn't know Verska was there. And that'll stay on the Cougars' end of things.
And that was just a great tap over by the Cougs. Like you said, the Stars' communication broke down and Cougars still hold on to possession.
Miscommunication on the back line again. Geschke and Verska let it split him and drop down. And it's an ace for Leon Godzowski. Cougars trail by 3.
And that wasn't even one that was necessarily right at the edge of the line. It was just both the Stars player thought the other one was going to get it, and in the end, neither one went for it.
And this time, Godzowski can't line it up just off the back corner. So the serve there sends it back over to the Stars. They lead by 4 as Geschke's back to serve. They're 7 points away from taking set 1. Serve across. Mosher saves it. Hollabeck far side. Blocked, but out! A nice play for the Cougars. It looked like a busted play, and it kind of got that Dominican front line napping a little bit. Had to panic on the block, so Hollabeck will get a chance to serve now, trailing by 3. Verska to Morrow. Sets up Geschke, but Geschke goes straight into the net. Cougars pick up another consecutive point. They've slowly been clawing this deficit back. It's 16-8. Hollabeck across. Damin almost over the net. Dominican can't save it.
And just like that, the Cougars are only down by 1, and that's forcing the Stars to take a timeout.
Doug Burchett calling his first timeout of the night, trying to keep his team from sliding. They only lead by 1. And we'll take a 1-minute break here on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back right after that for more Cougar volleyball action. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Dominican gets their breather, gets their reset from Coach Burchett. Cougars back on the court. They have possession, and they only trail by 1. As Greg Manos has a bone to pick with the officials.
Couldn't tell quite exactly of what it's about.
It looks like because the referees blew the whistle to start up before they had 6 on the court. Mosher heads out. Hollabeck will now serve. Verska, poor reception. Ford's there for the slam dunk. And we're back even in Geisman. It's 18-18.
And the Cougars have just been going on a run. That was a fantastic serve hit by Ford, making up for the Dominican mistake.
Poor reception, Verska. Nice pancake from Geschke. They're going to blow it down. They're going to call a double touch on Dominican. Cougars storm back in front on a 5-0 run. It's 19-18 Concordia.
At one point, this was a 6-point Stars lead. And now the Cougars just a house of fire.
Morrow sets for Castellion. This time he wastes no time. slamming that down. That's off, forward, and out. So we're back evened up. Brian Barnett dropping back for the serve.
Castiglione was just a big shot there right off the arm of Gato to tie it up. Make sure the Cougars couldn't be the first ones to hit 20.
Gato to Mosher, sets up for Hoffman. And that's going to be an error tagged on Dominican. Would have been into the bleachers anyway. So the Cougars take possession right back. Hoffman will drop back to serve. It's 20-19 Concordia. Hoffman tosses up for the serve, just over the net. Poor reception. Castiglione saves. Dahmen just has to send it across. Hollebeck to Mosher to Ford. A tapper! And the finesse kicks Dominican. It's a 2-point lead for the Cougars.
That was an incredible play by Tyler Hollebeck. He saw the front line was ready for his big power hit, so he just tapped it right over their fingertips.
Alexander Ford working the angle as Hoffman sends that across. Morrow sets for Castiglione. Blocked, but it's too far across and out. So possession will head back to Dominican. They crack 20, but it's still 21-20 Cougs.
It's a good block by the Cougs. Fortunately for them, the momentum and the angle of the ball just carried it straight out of bounds.
Castiglione tosses it up. He'll send it across. Hollebeck to Mosher, sets up Stella. Now Castiglione passing for Dahmen. A push across. Mosher sets for Ford. Miscommunication between the two men on the front line. We're tied back up at 21.
Yeah, it looked like Ford might have been going for just kind of a tap over the net, but then maybe due to the set just kind of mistimed the angle on his jump.
It looked like Mosher wasn't in line for that play either. Ford trying to tell him what to do as the ball's coming to him. As Castiglione sends that across, Mosher racing over, passes it up for Hollebeck. Way too much gas on that. And Dominican's back in front. And we get our last timeout of the set from Greg Manos. With a 1-point lead, with a 1-point deficit, he'll try to get his team right back on the right track, get one last burst out of them to take a big set one.
Yeah, Cougars had some momentum coming out of the last timeout by Dominican, but now the Stars have gone on a 3-0 run of their own and are now just 3 points away from winning in set number 1. So Manos is presumably telling them to just get their heads focused, just needs to get 4 straight points out of the Cougs, just needs one short burst out of them to finish the job done and go up 1-0.
Ty Geschke working the offensive load for Dominican so far. Hollebeck doing the same for Concordia. And you look over at the errors. Same on attack for both teams at 5. Cougars, though, with 3 service errors. And that's been kicking Concordia as we get ready to go once more. Dominican leads by 1. They hold possession. Cougars coming out of the timeout. They're going to try to get right back on the right track. Not much room for error left for Concordia to slide, as we're only 3 points away from that 25 mark.
Yeah, definitely. If you're Concordia, you need to play some clean volleyball here in these last few points. You can't give Dominican free points because every one they get just puts them that much closer to winning.
Castiglione tosses it up, sends it across. It's off Hollebeck's face, but the Cougs keep it up. Castiglione. There's Hirsch way up there. And the skyscraper brings it down 2 points away now for the Stars. They're on a 3-0 run.
That was a good play by the Cougars. They played the ball off Hollebeck's face, but in the end, Dominican was just able to get the point anyway.
Castiglione will toss that up, send it across. Hollebeck to Mosher. Mosher sets forward. Stars keep it up. Dahmen. Too much Tabasco. That's into the Cougars bench. And CUC takes possession back, trailing by 1. It'll be Ford back to serve for the Cougars. So we'll have some heat off the line for this one. Tosses up, serves across. Dahmen. Morrow sets Castiglione. And the Cougars leave the middle of the court open again. Not the first time that's happened tonight. And it's set point for Dominican. It'll be Tanner Dahmen back to serve it up. Dahmen led that 8-0 run for the Stars earlier today. They'll look to just get one more and close this out for his squad. Sends it into the net, and he won't get that one more. Cougars, they have possession back. It's Mosher back to serve. Concordia needs at least 1 point to send this to extra volleyball. As it looks like we have a timeout from Coach Doug Burchett, so he's not wasting any of those timeouts. That's not Matt Eberflus on the sideline, and he's looking to get his team to close it out in regular play. We'll take a quick break on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be right back for the final point of set number 1. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Final point of set number 1. Dominican favored coming into the rivalry, trying to close it out. It's 24-23 Stars. Set point for Dominican. Cougars have the serve. Mosher sends it across. That's to Morrow. Sets Geschke. And who else to end it for Dominican? 6th kill of the set for Ty Geschke, and the Cougars can't get the job done in set 1. It's a 25-23 win for Dominican. They take a 1-0 lead on the night. We head to set 2 in just a few minutes on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back to the Cougars Sports Network. It's the Division Street rivalry in Geisman Gymnasium, Cougars and the Stars, and the home finale for Concordia's men's volleyball team. And the Stars holding a one-set lead over the Cougars.
Yeah, set one was really just a set of runs. Both teams went on big runs. They got a little close down in the final stretch of the set, but in the end, it was the Stars that were able to get the last point and go up 1-0.
A tight set in set one. We've seen the Cougars have close set ones against good teams and then start to fall off. They're going to have to do the opposite here, and that's a strong start for the Cougs. Make that 2 straight service errors at the line for Tanner Dahmen, and the Cougars will draw first blood. It's 1-0 Cougs. J.R. Stella back to serve for Concordia. He'll toss that up, jump, send it across. Dahmen tomorrow sets for Casaleon. That almost got to the back wall. Way too much gas, and the Cougars a 2-point lead to start it off.
And we saw in set number one, the Stars made a lot of unforced errors and just sloppy hits that allowed the Cougs to stay in it. And it seems that trend's continuing in the second set.
J.R. Stella sends that across. Morrow sets for Dahmen. And that's a carry for Tanner Dahmen. Set was too far behind. And it's error after error for Dominican to kick off set number 2. It's a 3-0 lead for Concordia. Stella back to serve once again. He'll toss it up, send it over. Morrow sets for Geschke. And who else to get you back on the right track? His first kill of set number 2. And Dominican's on the board.
Geschke had 6 kills for the Stars in set number 1. That puts him at 7. There's a great shot to the Cougs that they weren't able to field cleanly.
Hirsch sends it across. Mosher sets for Gudzovsky. He has a slam dunk of his own. No one covering the far right for the Stars, and it's back over to the Cougars. Gudzovsky himself will serve.
That was just a perfect set by Mosher, and Gudzovsky saw the gap in the Dominican defense, and that's where he put the ball.
And Gudzovsky sends it across. Morrow, a dump off, and a good one.
Just a fantastic hit by Morrow. Cougs thought he was going to set. Instead, he just swiped it right over the net.
Well, it's good awareness. I mean, you don't do it too often. Morrow, that's a pace of 1 per set. You're not expecting it. And if you do it with that much speed as he does, it's hard to adjust. As Ford sends that off of Henderson. Pushed across by Casaleon. Cardenas keeps it up. Mosher to Ford. Straight back across. Ford tips. Mosher just has to push it across. Dahmen passing for Geschke. Cardenas keeps it up. Mosher sets for Hollebeck coming across. Ford to Mosher. Sets for Hoffman. Blocked and down. Dominican keeps up some strong defense, and they're back within 1.
It was a good volley by both teams, but in the end, it was that Dominican front line that was just able to get the big block and send it right back at the Cougs.
Morrow over. Mosher sets for Hollebeck. Tack another one on for Tyler Hollebeck. That ricochets all the way up to the ceiling. And the Cougars take possession back, and it'll be Hollebeck to serve.
That was just a massive power shot by Hollebeck. Went off the arms of the Stars, went all the way up to the low-hanging wall.
Dahmen tomorrow. Hollebeck keeps that up. Mosher sets for Ford. Nice tapper again from Alex Ford. And the Cougars back up by 3. And that is an element to the game that we've seen Ford add through his freshman season. He loves to drop the hammer, but he's added in that touch over the season. That's something that there's not much of on his film because it's been an evolution, and he's able to catch teams a bit more off guard. He's done it twice tonight. As Hollebeck will serve across with a 3-point lead. Morrow sets for Casaleon, and that's a cross. That's off the corner official's foot. Wrong guy. You want to hit that, and the Cougars 3 straight points. It's 7-3 Concordia.
And that fireball hit went right past 2 Cougs.
Hollebeck across. Henderson tomorrow to Casaleon. That's almost kept up by Concordia.
Hollaback with a good effort to try to keep it alive, but wasn't able to get the correct angle on just the diving hit. So Stars now have possession, cut off the Cougs' three-point scoring run.
Yeah, it looks like Concordia is miscommunicating, not sure what to do with it off the block. As Geschke sends it across, Mosher, a dump of his own! 8-4 Cougs.
And that's a play you don't really expect out of Mosher. He's the big assist guy. He leads the Cougars in assists by a very large margin, so Dominican was not prepared for him to just pass it over the net like that.
Hoffman sends that across. Morrow sets for Dahmen. Too much on it, that's out. 5-point lead for Concordia. And going back to Mosher, Eli has been one of the best setters in the conference this season. Second in assists on the year. He's been incredibly reliable, and he's added a lot more of that dump-off game to his game this year as well in his junior season. As Stella wants a carry, but the kill goes over to the Stars. Grant Henderson spikes that over to one of the dining workers at Concordia, not the game day crew. As Barnett sends that across. Mosher sets for Hollaback, brings the fire. It's off Barnett's face, and then he touches it again. Double touch, and the point back over to the Cougs. They crack double digits for the first time tonight with their biggest lead of the night as well, 10-5 Concordia, as Ford now drops back for the serve. Received by Dahmen, sets for Hirsch, another skyscraper, brings it down.
And Alexander Ford tried to hit it off the back line there, but he was just kind of off balance. He was moving his feet and just wasn't able to hit it cleanly. Just went right off his left arm.
It's a combination of the height and the vertical from Hirsch. He's able to get up there. There's not too many players in the NAC who hit like him. And those serves from that high of a hit point are very tough to block, as that shot from Stella is out of bounds. So a couple consecutive points for Dominican. They're back within 3. It's 10-7 as Casa Leon will continue to serve.
Yeah, Stella was trying to go coast to coast with that one, but just airmailed it a little bit too much.
Tossed up, sent across. Hoffman to Mosher. Mosher dump off. That time Henderson keeps it up. Morrow to Dahmen. Blocked and off of Dahmen's head!
And that's that Cougar front line stepping up. They are showing here that they can go toe-to-toe with that powerful Dominican front line with that big block there that just went right off Dahmen's noggin.
11-7 Cougars. Mosher will send this one across. Geschke to Morrow, sets up Dahmen, and he got some payback with that one.
Yeah, Dahmen said, you hit a shot off my head. I'm going to answer with just a blazer of a shot straight into the ground. Van Gato didn't even have a chance to move to try to make a play on the ball.
Dahmen back to serve with a 3-point deficit. He'll toss it up, send it across. Hoffman can't receive it cleanly. Stars back within 2. It's 11-9 Concordia. Dahmen will continue to serve.
Hollaback gave chase on that one, but unfortunately the shot or the ball ended up bouncing off the wall.
Cougars bench counting off Dahmen. That's an 11-second serve that time, but it pays off. He tells the Cougars bench to silence it. That's his 2 consecutive aces for Dahmen.
And again, Marcin Hoffman just wasn't able to field it cleanly, and now the Stars are only down by 1.
Cougars bench does shut it this time. Dahmen will toss it up, send it way across. Now it's a service error, so nothing but aces and errors for Tanner Dahmen. Cougars take possession back with a 2-point lead. Stella back to serve for Concordia. They'll toss it up, send it across. Dahmen to Morrow. Sets for Geschke. Stella straight across. Hollaback can't receive it. He tries to tell Stella, you got to be there for that one. That's another one for Dominican. They take it back. Hirsch back to serve with a 1-point deficit.
Yeah, several Cougars tried to save the ball, but were just unable to.
Hirsch sends it across. Gato to Mosher. Sets for Hoffman. That one gets down cleanly. Block doesn't get enough of it. So we'll trade points in. Geisman back over to the Cougars. Godzowski back to serve, and it's back to a 2-point lead.
Cougars went on a big run to start. Dominican went on a run, and now the two teams are just going punch for punch with each other.
Godzowski pushes it across. Morrow sets for Geschke. Blocked down by Alex Ford and Tyler Hollaback.
And again, that front line of the Cougars is showing that they can go toe-to-toe with Dominican. They're not going to let Dominican just shove them around when it comes to the net.
Yeah, this has been a tougher set for Geschke. Yet to get a kill as Godzowski fires that across. Morrow, a dump off. Mosher's ready for it. UC Toombs trading hits. Morrow sets that one up. Now Mosher setting for Hollaback. A tipper! And that's 4 for Dominican. Tyler Hollaback gets the Stars flailing. And the Cougars back up by 4.
The Stars just didn't know what to do there. They were trying to field it off the Hollaback hit, but they were just left scrambling. And in the end, one too many hits.
It looks like what got him on the block from Greco. He got it once. That's allowed. That doesn't count as a hit. But then he reached back to try and grab it again. That's where that first hit came from. And it's an ace for Godzowski. Glancing off of Dahmen. Cougars back up by 5. And on the back foot, Burchett calls his first timeout.
If you're Doug Burchett, you have to call timeout there. The Cougars are on a roll. That's going to make it 4 straight points. And it seems like now nothing's going right for the Stars. They just haven't been able to communicate well. They haven't been able to get good quality hits off the ball. And the Cougars have just really been smacking them all over here in the last few points.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum with the Cougars as well. That momentum, a much bigger factor in tonight's game. I said it the last home game. Most packed Geisman we might see all year. This beats it. Good chunk of that is due to the fact that we're in River Forest. A lot of Dominican students taking the walk down Division Street for tonight's game. Also got the OPRF high school volleyball program in-house tonight to watch the two local squads face off. But I mean, look over on the right side of the bleachers across the way. Cougars Stadium packed for what's Jersey night, and we've already seen a couple unique jerseys out there. We'll break those down some more as the night goes on, but Cougars, all the momentum behind them right now. It's 16-11 Concordia. Doug Burchett hoping his team can come out of the timeout strong. Godzowski will retain the serve for Concordia.
Yeah, the Dominicans just hoping to cut off the Concordia momentum, because once Concordia loses momentum, they have a little bit of difficulty getting it back.
Godzowski, another one! Back-to-back aces for Leon Godzowski.
And whatever Burchett told his team in that timeout did not work, as Godzowski got an ace before the timeout and got an ace right after it.
17-11 Concordia. Godzowski fires across. Morrow to Greco. Cardenas to Hollaback, and that's blocked. Greco finally gets his moment, and Dominican kills the run for Concordia, but it's back up to a 5-point lead for the Cougs. Morrow back to serve, sends that across. Cardenas to Mosher, sets up Hoffman. Geschke, Morrow, back to Geschke. Cardenas across. Dominican scrambling to get it back. Geschke over. Mosher to Gato to Hollaback. That's blocked, but it's blocked out.
And that was just a fantastic sequence of events. Cardenas with a one hit to get it over. Dominican sent it back. And in the end, Tyler Hollaback with the big shot and another big block by Dominican, except this time, angled a little bit too much to the left.
Hollaback across. Morrow sets for Casaleon. Cardenas to Mosher. Hoffman just has to hit it across and just a bit too much on it. We're going back over to Dominican.
Yeah, Hoffman was trying to find that very back corner there. Just ended up angling it a little bit too far on the hit.
And the pass from Cardenas was a bit too out in front of Mosher, so he had that rush set. Hoffman wasn't able to take it up because it wasn't a good set. Cardenas to Mosher. Hollaback, mid-range. That's glanced out! Another one for Tyler Hollaback. We're back up to a 6-point deficit. It's 19-13 Cougs.
And the Cougs have been showing that they can get it past that Dominican front line. We just saw there, Dominican went up for the block, but the ball went right off the fingertips and out.
Hoffman sends that across. Henderson slaps it up to Morrow. Here's Dahmen. Hoffman keeps it up. Mosher setting for Hollaback. Henderson to Morrow. Morrow sets Geschke from the back line. Too much on it. Geschke continues struggling. It's a 7-point Concordia lead. Burchett, he was on one back foot before. He's on two now as he calls his second timeout.
Yeah, Geschke was trying to find that near side corner that was left relatively unguarded by the Cougs. He was trying to get the big power shot, but like you said, he just put a little bit too much juice on it, and that one soared and was just out. And now Burchett just has to call timeout. This one is quickly slipping away from the Cougs.
And Concordia up to a 7-point lead. Hollaback up to 9 kills on the night. He has been having a fantastic night again for Concordia, as he has had most of the time since he started playing this season. You go over to the other end, it's Ty Geschke, who's been a big part of the struggles for Dominican. They're lucky Thomas Hirsch is picking up the slack tonight. Hirsch, not one of their leading killers on the year. He has been tonight, but Geschke, 7 kills in set 1, none in set number 2. He has an error in the set as well. His hitting percentage on the night has dropped to 188. And Coach Birch is going to need his guys to get back in. They trail by 7, and Concordia is only 5 away from taking set number 2.
Like you said, Geschke, house of fire for the Stars in set number 1. Set 2 has been virtually non-existent.
Hoffman back to serve for Concordia. He'll toss it up and send it across. Henderson to Morrow. Sets up Castiglione. And for the first time this set, the Cougars leave the middle of the court open. It's a great response out of the timeout for the Stars. They take possession back, and it's Ryan Barnett back to serve.
Yeah, if you're Burchett, that's what you want to see coming out of the timeout. You want your team to just string together some good hits and then end up getting the point coming out.
Barnett across. Gato receives. Mosher sets for Stella. Light hit. Hirsch passes to Barnett. Just has to push it across. Hollaback to Mosher. Ford! Another tapper. Great pancake from Barnett. Castiglione just pitches it. Mosher to Hollaback. Mid-range. Mora receives. Barnett. Long set for Dahmen. Mosher sets up Stella. And that's a kill off of Barnett's face. Too far across. Dahmen can't get there. And J.R. Stella picks up his first kill of the night.
And hey, the Stars had some good plays, but in the end it was all for naught. Stella gets his first kill of the night. The Cougars get the points, and they are now at 21 points.
Back to 7 for the Cougs. Ford back to serve for Concordia. They're 4 points away from set 2 now. Ford tosses it up, sends it across. Henderson to Morrow, going for Dahmen. Tapper. Stella to Mosher. Hollaback mid-ranger. Now Morrow. That's tapped by Gudzovsky, and finally the call comes in. Gudzovsky going too far over. First error we've seen in a while for the Cougs.
Yeah, the Cougs have been playing some very clean volleyball here in set number 2, but that one was obviously on Gudzovsky, just reaching a little bit over the net. And Dominican gets the point back.
Greg Manos calls his first timeout, sees a little slip in the energy from his squad, wants to get them nice and energized up for the final stretch of set number 2. I mean, I mentioned Jersey night earlier. Looking across what we've got out at Concordia tonight, I mean, a lot of interesting ones out there. First thing that stuck out, we got a few Zach Levine jerseys out there for the Bulls. God rest his soul.
R.I.P.
To clarify, he's not dead. He's just in Sacramento.
Which is arguably worse than being dead.
Kings team that's also on the edge of the play-in. Bulls, you didn't catch that. Chicago clinching their spot in the play-in tournament once again. Sacramento on the edge of falling out of that. Also got out there a very deep cut and a nice O-line appreciate Appreciator over in the student section, 4 rows up, 2 guys in. We got a Colts Quentin Nelson jersey, and you don't see that very often for Nelson or just O-linemen in general.
You really don't. O-linemen are very underappreciated when it comes to people wearing jerseys for them.
As the Cougars, in their yellow jerseys, head back out onto the court. Dominican, they also head back out onto the court. Cougars lead by 6. It's 21-15 Concordia. Nathaniel Castiglione back to serve for Dominican. They trail by 6. Concordia only 4 away from taking set 2. Dominican got to get a run sometime soon as Castiglione will send this across. Hoffman receives. Mosher sets for Gonzowski! The hammer to the back corner!
Leon Gonzowski just saw the perfect set by Mosher and just launched a shot right at the back of the Dominican line. No one was able to react.
Morrow sets up Castiglione, and he gets some payback. Hard shot to Hoffman's feet. And it's back to a 6-point deficit, 22-16. Dominican takes possession back. Concordia more than content to keep it at a 1-to-1 trade right now. Dominican, they've got to get a run soon. They're going to look to get it at the hands of Tanner Dahmen. Serves up. Hoffman receives. Mosher racing for the set. Here's Hollaback. Another one! Kill number 10 for Tyler Hollaback.
Hollaback just with the big shot went straight off the arms of the Stars front line and into the fans. And Tyler Hollaback officially the first person on either team to get in the double digits for kills tonight.
2 away for the Cougs. Stella tosses it up, sends it across. Dahmen receives. Morrow to Hirsch. Another one from the skyscraper.
Hirsch just blazed that one right past Eli Mosher. But again, like you were saying before, Cougs are happy to trade 1-to-1 points with the Cougs because that means they'll be winning very shortly.
Still at a 6-point deficit for Dominican. Got a new face back to the service line. It's Kendall Esparza, freshman out of Lancaster, California. Drops back, tosses up. He'll send it across and into the net. Not the start to the night the freshman wanted. And the Cougars 1 point away from evening this matchup.
Yeah, when you're a freshman and you're coming in for the first time in a match, you don't want the first thing you do is to immediately put the other team on set point.
Gonzowski across. Morrow tries to dump it. Hoffman's there. Now Geschke finally picks up a kill. Very, very late. Might be too little for Dominican, but he does keep him alive. We stay at set point. We're going to be at set point for at least 6 points. As Morrow serves that across. Gato receives. Mosher setting for no one. Cardenas just has to pass it across. Morrow to Greco. Mosher, poor reception. Greco, Morrow, back to Castiglione. Blocked and out. A couple consecutive points for the Stars. First time we've seen that from either team in a while. And Morrow will get another chance at the line.
It was a good block by Hoffman and Ford, but unfortunately it just went straight out of bounds.
Morrow across, Cardenas to Mosher. Sets for Hollaback. Straight back across, Cardenas. Mosher, Hollaback. Too much sauce. Hollaback's confident that was tipped. No benefit of the doubt from either official. As the Dominican bench guys who are yet to get in the game offer their piece of advice.
Yeah, Hollaback was just trying to go for that far side, get the big shot to call it here in set 2, but this hit it a little bit too hard.
And Nanos wants to close it out. He calls a timeout. Cougars up by 4. Dominican on a 3-0 run. Concordia, they're still just 1 point away from taking set 2, and they got to take what they can get against a very tough squad. Tyler Hollaback leading the way for the Cougs, 11 kills on 5 errors, 21 attempts, hitting at a .286 percentage. Leon Gonzowski, only 6 attempts on the year, but he has been efficient at the front line. 5 kills so far, and 3 service aces too, and 2 blocks. He's having a great night on the front line, a night where the Cougars that front line was a point of concern up against this Dominican squad.
Yeah, Dominicans, like we were saying before the game, Dominicans got a strong front line, and the Cougs front line has been a little bit shaky throughout the season, but tonight they are showing that they can hang with that Dominican front line. They can stand right next to them and go toe-to-toe.
As we bring it back, both these teams headed out there. Cougars up by 4. Owen Morrow still back for the serve. And Morrow takes a dribble, tosses up, sends across. Hoffman to Mosher. Sets for Hollaback. Blocked off Ford's face. Cougs keep it up. Hoffman. Both these teams trading some headshots. As here's Geschke, and he's going to keep it going. It's been a little. It hasn't been too late. Another one on this run for Ty Geschke. Dominicans within 3.
And we've seen Dominican go on 3-0 runs. That's all they need to do here to win.
Mosher sets for Hoffman. Finally! Hoffman, a kill, and the Cougars take it. 25-21 in set number 2. They even up the night. As Concordia, they lead from start to finish in that one. They battle it out. Dominican, they try to clutch up at the end. Just not enough ice in that set. It's all even at 1-1. We'll take a short break as these teams switch sides on the court. We'll be back for set number 3 between the Cougars and the Stars. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network for set 3 of tonight's match between the Cougars and the Stars. Concordia tied it up in set number 2. We're all tied up at 1-1 as we head into set number 3. And I mean, you look at Dominican. Outside of those matches in the top 4, only 2 of those matches has seen another team from the Cougars win a set. And another part has gone into what's a little bit of a cold streak for Dominican right now. They lost 3-0 their last match against Milwaukee School of Engineering. The game before that, they were at Wisconsin Lutheran in Milwaukee, a team that's in that bottom chapter of the conference. And they won it, but they won it 3-2, which is a lot closer than they would have liked it to be. But they're going to like the start to set number 3. Thomas Hirsch gets up there. The Cougs yet to find an answer for the skyscraper. And the Stars out to an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, in set number 2, the Cougars are the ones that jumped out to an early lead and never looked back. So Dominican making sure that doesn't happen.
Hoffman receives. Mosher sets for Hollabeck. Hollabeck's going to do his best right now to check on that. He slams that down for his first kill of the sets. Kill number 12 on the night. And J.R. Stella will drop back to serve for the Cougs. That's sent across from Stella. Morrow setting for Geschke. Mosher keeps it up. Hollabeck tries to dump it. Godzowski pushes it across to keep it alive. Morrow for Greco. Stella keeps it up. Mosher to Hollabeck, the left-handed tapper. No good. Here's Geschke. Bucked down. Get up there, Godzowski. Cougs jump back out in front, and Stella another chance to serve. These two squads go back and forth.
And that's that Cougar front line, which has been dominating the Stars tonight. They have been blocking them all night long.
Stella across. Poor pass from Henderson. There's Geschke. Gato's reception straight back across. Geschke to Morrow. Back to Geschke. Tip. Stella keeps it up. Mosher going for Hoffman. Blocked, but out. Tack another one on for Marcin Hoffman.
That was just a great play by Hoffman. Sent it right into the moving figures of the Dominican front line, who weren't able to control which direction their block was going.
Stella back to serve for the Cougs. He'll send that into the net. First service error we've seen since set number 1 for the Cougs.
Yeah, we saw in set number 2, the Cougs were playing very clean volleyball and everything. Like you said, they didn't have a service error, and they just didn't have very many errors in general.
That is something we do see from J.R. Stella at the line, though. He is a great hitter, strong serves, a lot of aces. Comes a little more risk for those errors. As you see there, Cougars bring that possession back. Godzowski, another kill on his total for the night, up to 6, and he'll drop back to serve. And he'll lose it straight across and out. We trade points again. Dominican takes possession back, down by 1.
So back-to-back service errors for the Cougs, and you just want to avoid that. You don't want to give Dominican free points.
4-3 serve is up from Geschke off the net. Can't get much closer than that. Barely crawls over the top line.
Eli Mosher dived for it at the last second when he realized that it was in fact going over the net, but just wasn't close enough to make a play on the ball.
Gotta take that luck when you can get it. Geschke does. But luck is a two-sided coin, and he gets the other side there. A service error out the far corner. And Cougars take possession back. Hollabeck with the serve. Dahmen to Morrow. A nice setup for Greco. And it's back over to the Stars. Barnett coming in for the serve.
That was just a big hit by Greco. Came in from the back and just hit a deep shot right into the midst of the Cougars.
Barnett sends that across. Cardenas to Mosher. Sets up Ford. That's one for Alex Ford. Brings a heat down on Dominican. Can't bring it cleanly. That's into their section of the bleachers. And the Cougars take that point back.
That's going to be Ford's third kill of the night, but he has been a big presence at the front line for the Cougs.
Hoffman too much on top of that one. So another service error for the Cougs. We're back even. This time it's Nathaniel Castiglione back for the serve.
If you look at it, the Stars have 6 points in set number 3. 3 of those are from Cougar service errors.
Castiglione hammers it straight into the net. These two squads trading service errors now as we bring it back over to the Cougs. Alex Ford back for the serve. Ford tosses up, sends across. Geschke to Morrow for Hirsch. Kept up by Hoffman. Set for Stella. Deep shot. Kept up. Morrow setting for Castiglione. Ford. Mosher. Stella. Blocked and out. Second kill of the night for JR and the Cougars. Up by 2. It's 8-6 Concordia.
And we've seen that Dominican Stars front line, which is usually so dominant, just hasn't been able to get good control on their block attempts tonight.
Ford tosses that up and sends that out the left side. So another service error for the Cougs. And possession goes back over to Dominican. Cougars doing their part to keep this set number 3 close so far. Nearly half of Dominican's points coming off of Cougar service errors. Dahmen back with the serve. He'll toss it up and send that across. Hoffman receives. Mosher sets. Going for Hollaback. And that is a big-time block from Hirsch.
Hollaback hit the shot, but it was directly at Hirsch, who didn't even have to move and just rejected it straight back at the Cougs.
Tied back up at 8. Dahmen retains the serve. Dahmen across. Hoffman. Mosher chasing. Mid-ranger for Hollaback and nearly finds a gap. That's set up for Geschke, and Dominican back in front for the first time since 1-0.
And that's what they need here in set 3. They need Geschke, who is basically invisible in set number 2, to come out and just have some big hits. He's their star player, and they need him to be on.
Ty Geschke finally cracks double digits. 10 kills on the night as Dahmen sends that across. Castiglione, nearly a mistake. Great communication from Dahmen to tell him to leave it. And the Cougars, their biggest deficit since set 1. They trail by 2. It's 10-8 Dominican.
Yeah, Castiglione was ready to go for that, but Dahmen just screamed out at him to get him to back off.
Yeah, it's a tale of two sides for communication there. That serve easily going out. Hollaback saving it. And then great communication on Dominican's end for them to not hit it when it's going out, as the Cougars send that one out. Everyone confident it's hit. Near judge says it is. So the Cougars pick up at that point, finally get their possession back. Just the fingertips of Dominican. Another kill for JR Stella. And Eli Mosher will drop back to serve with a 1-point deficit. Morrow sets for Castiglione. Way too much gas on that. That heads all the way over to Concordia campus passer Simeon Raditz. And we're tied back up at 10.
Castiglione was trying to find the black corner, but just airmailed it.
That serve received by Dahmen. Morrow setting for Geschke. Big time block. Gizovsky gets up again.
Leon Gizovsky has just been everywhere tonight. He's been there with kills, been there with the service aces, and he's been there with the blocks.
Mosher across. Geschke to Morrow to Dahmen. Not enough height. Straight into the net. 4-0 run for the Cougars. This is what we've seen on the hot streak from the Cougars. That's different to when they struggled at the start of the year. They would fall behind a bit. They let that momentum carry them. Instead, they take a 3-0 run on the chin, respond with a 4-0 run of their own, and counting as Morrow sets for Hirsch. And we're not going to count anymore. Double digits for Thomas Hirsch tonight, his 10th kill. And it's back to a 1-point deficit.
And again, that's just a big play by Hirsch to cut off the Concordia runs, try to get the momentum back on the side of the Stars.
Hirsch sends that across. Hoffman to Mosher, sets Stella. And he picks up his third kill of the set. 4 kills on the night now for JR. And it's back up to a 13-11 lead.
Stella wasn't a big factor for the Cougs in set 1 and 2, but he has been on here in set number 3.
Stella serves that in! Can't do better than that, right on the corner! J.R. Stella, another one!
If you could freeze time, walk over, and set the ball down, you probably couldn't place it better than J.R. Stella did with that ace. That was beautiful.
Ty Geschke getting subbed out of the game. First time tonight. Into the game for the first time tonight is Aaron Mars, the senior out of Woodridge. And him and Nathaniel Casaleon, they got a lot of history together. Both of them out on the court right now. The two of them playing together at Downers Grove South in high school. Same grad class there. Same grad class at Dominican. As the Stars bring that point back over to their own end. Back to a 2-point deficit.
Mosher made a good diving play to try to save it, but no dice.
Now Geschke back into the game. Morrow sends that across. Cardenas receives. Mosher taps it to make it tough, and they're going to tag him for going over.
Yeah, I was trying to catch the Stars off guard. It was a little bit tap over the net. Unfortunately for him, he also got his arm over the net.
1 point lead for Dominican. Morrow sends that across once more. Cardenas to Mosher, sets for Hoffman. Kept up by Greco. Geschke, a kill. Gets the block, a panic block from the Cougars. And we're back even at 14.
So Geschke briefly leaves the game, comes right back in and makes an immediate difference, getting the point for the Stars to knot it up here at 14.
Cardenas to Mosher, sets for Hollaback. Cardenas can't receive, and the Stars, for a run of their own, they're back in front. It's 15-14 Dominican.
But you've been saying that when the Cougs get down, they are able to go on runs. The Stars have been doing the same thing.
Morrow across, Gato to Mosher, sets for Hollaback. That's blocked out. Another one for Tyler Hollaback, his 14th kill of the night. And the Cougars even it back up at 15.
The Cougars are just managing to hang with Dominican. They're keeping it close, keeping themselves in the lead.
Godzowski sends that across. Morrow sets for Greco, kept up by Mosher. Cardenas to Hollaback, just has to pass it across. Morrow, he'll set up Geschke. That's blocked, but it's blocked out. Point back over to Dominican. They're back in front.
Ford went right up there to try to get the block, and he did. Fortunately for him, the ball just went straight out of bounds.
Geschke back for the serve. He'll toss it up, send it across. Hoffman's reception straight back over. Slam dunk for Michael Greco. 2-point lead for Dominican, their largest of the set. It's 17-15.
You can tell Hoffman did not mean for that one to get over, but it did, and Dominican made him pay.
Geschke will serve once more with a 2-point lead. Hoffman receives. Mosher sets for Ford. Straight back over from Henderson. Gato. Mosher. Ford again. Blocked by Greco! And now Manos will call the timeout. Finally, as his team drops down by 3. It's 18-15 Dominican. They stay running. And we'll take a break on the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a minute for more Cougar Volleyball. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Cougars on a rough run of it. Dominican, they've gone on too many runs straight. They lead by 3. It's 18-15 Stars. Geschke continuing to serve out of the timeout. Cardenas receives. Mosher sets for Ford. And too much on it. Great dodge from Dahmen. Up to a 4-point lead for Dominican. Now it's 19-15 in set 3.
Yeah, he was trying to send that one right at Dahmen, trying to get him to just make a bad hit, but Dahmen dodged and the ball just went straight out of bounds.
Hoffman receives to Mosher, sets for Hollaback. Finally gets out of it, just catches the edge. Another kill for Tyler Hollaback, make it 15 on the night. And the Cougars get back on the right side of the scorebook.
And that's what the Cougars need here. They need Tyler Hollaback to get back to his ways.
Greco across, Cardenas to Mosher, sets up Hollaback. Too much on that one. Back to a 4-point lead for Dominican.
Hollaback saw the open corner for Dominican and wanted to make him pay for leaving it open, but just had a little bit too much strength on the shot.
Ryan Barnett back to serve for Dominican. Gato to Mosher, dump off! That's a great time to break that out in this set. Eli Mosher brings it right back over to the Cougars. Hoffman back to serve for Concordia as Thomas Hirsch subs back in. Thomas Hirsch, already before set 3 is even done, has set a season high and career high in kills in a game with 10. His last high was 9 set earlier this year against IIT. And those service errors have been killing Concordia today. It kills them again right there. Hoffman loses possession immediately. It's back to a 4-point deficit.
Not only is it a 4-point deficit, but now the Stars only 4 points away from going up 2-1.
Castiglione with the serve, tosses up, sends it across, and out. Back-to-back service errors for Nathaniel Castiglione. So the Cougars, they get possession back. Same really where we were in set 2. Dominican more than happy to trade points right now. The Cougars got to get a bit of a run at some point.
Yeah, a little different from when that was, though. Cougars had a 6-point lead here. Stars only 3.
And Ford frustrated. Another service error, and you can guarantee that's going to be the point of emphasis in this next break. The Cougars, their 5th service error of the set. As now it's Dahmen back to serve, Dahmen been inconsistent but effective when he's on at the line tonight. That one off the net. Hoffman to Mosher, sets for Gazovsky, too much under it. Cougars saying it's tipped. Don't get the call from anyone. And now they're down by 5. Dominican 2 points away from taking set 3.
Now the Cougs just needed to go on a type of set 2 run and just score a chunk of points in a row to get back in it.
Dahmen tosses that up and sends it across, and they're going to say it's in. Catching the back line, it's an ace for Tanner Dahmen, and that makes set point for Dominican. The Cougars sliding, and now they're on the back foot. They need 6 straight points to keep this set alive. Dahmen will bobble it around, taking his time, tosses it up, sends it across. Hoffman receives, Mosher keeps it up. Hollaback mid-range, off the head of Henderson! A headshot, and the Cougars stay alive.
That was a nasty headshot by Hollaback to Henderson, and now the Cougars only need 5 points to tie it back
up. Now we saw Dominican go on a run, almost able to stay alive in set 2. Cougars need to do it now. Mosher across. Morrow sets for Geschke, immediately blocked. Morrow dump off, Mosher's there. Gato to Hollaback, blocked. And they're going to say it's in. Cougars drop set 3, 24-5-19. They lead for the majority. Dominican comes out firing to close it out, and the Stars take a 2-1 set lead. After set 3, these two teams switch sides. We head to set 4. It's 2-1 Stars. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. We had to set four. It's a 2-1 set lead for Dominican. They're going to try and close it out. 1 set to go for the Stars. Cougars, they trail by 1 set. They're going to look to push us to a 5-set night in River Forest for the Division Street Rivalries. Head into set number 4. Cougars dropping set 3, 25-19. And I can guarantee it was a point of emphasis in that break. It's a point of emphasis this one. The difference maker for that set is the service errors.
Oh, 100%. The Cougs had, 5 service errors in set number 3 alone? That's 1/5 of Dominican's total points. You can't give a team 1/5 of their points just from you either hitting the ball into the net or hitting the ball way too far over the back line.
Cougars, they'll look to clean up that point of their game in set 4. As Ryan Barnett will drop back to serve it off to start this set.
And we saw that the Cougs lost set 1, but then came back to win set number 2. So now hopefully they can do a similar thing with sets 3 and 4.
Barnett across, received by Gato. Mosher chasing to set that for Hollaback. That's blocked down. Hollaback keeps it up. Mosher now setting for Stella. That's tipped. Kept up by Barnett. Pushed across by Geschke. Stella. Mosher. Godzowski blocked. Hoffman. Mosher. Stella. Too much sauce into the student section. And Dominican draws first blood. And through those first 3 sets, it's been the pattern. The team that scores first wins the set. Cougars are going to have to break that now in set 4. Barnett across and out. So the first service error for either team this set. We're back even at 1. And J.R. Sella will drop back to serve for the Cougs.
And we saw the Stars make a lot of errors in sets numbers 1 and 2. They were able to calm down a little bit in set number 3, but they don't want to start set number 4 with a service error like that.
Stella sends that across. Poor reception from Geschke. It's straight back. Mosher sets for Hollaback. A tapper. Kept over. Mosher sets for Hollaback again. Too much sauce on it again. And the Cougars are back down by 1. It's errors kicking the Cougs in this set so far.
Yeah, so far it's been the Cougars here on the near side that have been trying to go coast to coast and find that far side, but have just put too much heat on the ball when trying to do so.
Castiglione back for the serve. He'll toss this one up and send that across. Hoffman receives straight over. Hirsch is there. Gato keeps it up. Mosher to Hollaback. Blocked straight down by Hirsch.
Big block by Hirsch. Hollaback moved out of the way, hoping there'd be someone behind him to hit it, but there was not. And now Dominican's got a 2-point lead.
Castiglione will continue serving. Cougars yet to find an answer for Thomas Hirsch. Castiglione up, across. Poor reception from Cardenas, and it's into the bleachers.
Just the big shot went right off the arms of Cardenas. Hollaback gave chase up until the bench, but in the end just had to watch it land in the stands.
With a 3-point lead off a 3-0 run, Castiglione will continue to serve. And it's over. So the Cougars staying in this set so far, courtesy of Dominican service errors.
And the Cougs will take every point they can. If the Stars are just going to commit service errors, the Cougars will take the free points to stay alive.
Godzowski to serve. He'll send that over. Henderson to Castiglione. Over to Dahmen. Cardenas receives. Mosher sets for Hoffman. A tapper and down! Morrow too much to the side. No one's there. And the first kill of the set for Hoffman. And it brings it back to a 1-point game. Godzowski back to serve again. He'll toss that up, send that across. Geschke receives tomorrow over to Dahmen with the heat. And Dominican will take that possession back, and it's a 5-3 game, Stars.
Dahmen was able to send that one perfectly past all the Cougs, send it pass forward past Cardenas to a spot where there was no Cougar on the floor.
Dahmen now with the serve. He's been effective when he's on tonight. across. Cardenas receives. Mosher chasing. Here's Hoffman. Long shot. Received by Dahmen. Morrow for Castiglione. Received by Mosher. Straight back over, and Hirsch is there. Kill number 11 on the night for the sophomore. Cougars defense can't clean it up on that possession. They're back down by 3.
The accidental hit over on the first hit meant that there was a wide gap that Dominican was all too happy to take advantage of.
Dahmen served too much on it, straight across. The Cougars have not killed a Dominican serve yet this set without a service error.
Yeah, of the Cougars' 4 points, 3 of them have been Stars serving errors.
Hollaback across, Henderson receives. Morrow sets for Geschke, blocked straight down. And the Cougars take that point forward, gets up there, and it's back to a 1-point game. And now we talked about how they've been getting those service errors. What they need to do with them is more. They need to produce some runs out of that, produce more points instead of giving it back like they do there. Hollaback with a service error, and it's back to a 2-point game.
Yeah, they need to take advantage of every time they have possession. When Dominican sends the ball straight into the net, the Cougs need to use that possession to score 2 or 3 or 4 points to just continue to hang in this and give themselves the lead.
Hirsch off the net. Mosher passing to Hoffman. Passing to Mosher. Tries to push that across to a tough spot. Hirsch sets this for Castiglione. Mid-ranger received by Cardenas. Mosher sets for Hoffman. Hirsch receives. That's set for Castiglione. Received by Cardenas. Mosher tips it. Geschke got arrogant. Thought he had it himself. Tried to slap it down. Didn't know Mosher was up there too, and he slaps it out of bounds straight sideways.
Just a good play by Mosher to get it past Geschke, who just hit it right off the side of his hand and out of bounds.
Hoffman serving with a 1-point deficit. Henderson to Morrow to Geschke, who is blocked emphatically by Alex Ford. We're back even at 7.
And that is just a big block from Alex Ford when the Cougs needed. That ties it up, puts Ford at 4 blocks on the night.
Hoffman to serve again. Morrow to Greco, Gato, Hollaback, all the way to Stella for the kill. Plays the buck perfectly. The Cougars set goes coast to coast. And CUC back out in front. It's 8-7.
The Cougars have just been able to take advantage of some Dominican mishaps here. And like you said, they've been able to take back this lead.
Hoffman across, received by Dahmen. Morrow sets for Geschke. Not blocked this time. Miscommunication between Hoffman and Gato. And we're back even at 8. Morrow back for the serve.
It looked like Gato and Hoffman weren't sure which one was going to take it. It ended up being a Hoffman that took it, but it was just a light hit, and there was no one there to hit it next.
Hollaback to Mosher to Ford. Morrow sets for... Now Mosher setting for Stella! A power shot! And the OPRF kids get a souvenir for a second. That's off of Henderson and into the bleachers. Another one for JR Stella.
Stella with a big-time shot there to give the Cougs back the lead. Like I said, that ricochet going all the way up into the stands and into the hands of one of the OPRF kids.
As clarification on the rotation for Dominican, it's Ford with the serve for Concordia. He'll get that across, received by Dahmen. Morrow sets for Greco. Hoffman can't receive cleanly. It's back to 9-9, and it's back over to Dominican.
Just a big hit by Greco straight at Hoffman, who made good contact with it but didn't have time to angle his arms correctly, and as a result, that ball went straight into the fan section.
Geschke sends it across. Hoffman receives. Mosher sets for Hoffman. There's people in the way, and somehow it's a kill! Dominican collapses on the sideline. Geschke trips up, and the pass drops down on the edge. They thought it was going out, and instead of staying with it, Geschke gave up and then fell down trying to get back on it. Morrow sets for Greco. We'll trade points again. It's back over Dominican. It's a 10-10 game.
The two teams just trading body shots now. Greco with the big hit. Hoffman with the slightly unorthodox hit that ended up scoring the point. Two teams are just going back and forth.
Barnett with the serve at 10-10. Mosher setting for Stella. And it's out! You want to talk about unorthodox? Stella with a bit of luck. And the hit that's just barely able to bend around the pin is blocked out of bounds. And the Cougars, possession back. It's 11-10 Concordia. Now it's Stella with the serve. He'll toss it up and send it across. Hard shot received by Henderson. Morrow able to keep it alive. Mosher setting for Hoffman. Tipped off the block. Henderson's there. Morrow now setting for Castiglione. Mosher to Gato. Setting for Hoffman. Tipped. Henderson. Nice save. Morrow. Poor tip. And he's over the net. Point Cougs. 2-point lead for Concordia, their largest of the set, and Stella will continue serving.
It looked like with that sequence there, the Stars were just out of it. They weren't running, they were just kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off, not sure what to do with the ball.
Now Stella sends that too far. So a service error, that'll head back over to Dominican. They have a 1-point deficit, and it'll be Castiglione with the serve.
That server's close was just about an inch too far from finding the back corner.
Castiglione tosses it up, sends it across. Hoffman can't receive cleanly.
Castiglione will pick up service ace number 2 of the night, and again tie this game up now at 12 apiece.
Castiglione will continue serving. He has been the most consistently effective server for Dominican tonight, as he'll send this one off the net. Dominican's gotten lucky before. They get lucky again, and that drops down in the one spot you just don't cover on a serve. So a lucky point for Dominican. They lead by 1. It's 13-12. Castiglione continues to serve.
He's trying to make it 3 straight service aces.
Tosses up, sent across, and almost off the dome of the official. Easily out. We're back even at 13.
Nice dodge by the official to get out of the way, but again, Castiglione, a man of either aces or errors.
Gudzovsky tosses that up, fires that across. Geschke receives, set by Morrow for Hirsch. Another one for Thomas Hirsch. The Cougs yet to find an answer.
Hirsch has just been everywhere for the Stars. That's going to make it kill number 12 for him, and he's just been having a career night here tonight that the Cougars just, like you said, haven't been able to answer.
Well, I wouldn't even say Hirsch has been everywhere. He's been in one spot, the middle of the front line, and it's still working. 12 kills, no errors, a 750 hitting percentage. He's playing the best he's ever played in his college career, but the Cougars yet to pick it up as Hoffman plays the block beautifully. They get that to drop down, and we're back even at 14.
Dahlman and Henderson both dove for it, but it ended up being in the middle of both of them.
Hollabeck across, received by Henderson. Miscommunication from Hoffman and Mosher. And that drops down for a point for Dominican. They get an orthodox point of their own. That goes 15-14 Dominican. Hirsch with the serve. Cardenas receives Mosher. He'll set that up for Hollabeck. Mid-range, too much sauce. 2-point lead for the Stars.
Hollabeck was trying to send it here to that back line, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too hot. And now Dominican stringing back-to-back points together.
Served across by Hirsch. Mosher setting for Ford. Hirsch keeps it up. Set up for Castiglione. And they're going to say that's down on the sideline. So it's a 3-point lead for the Stars. 3-0 run, and the Cougars are slipping.
Just a great shot by Castiglione. Gato thought it was going out, so he just watched it go by.
And now Manos will call a timeout. You want to know what's been missing for the Cougars this set? Tyler Hollabeck.
Yeah.
16 kills on the night, all of those coming in the first 3 sets, and the Cougars To their credit, they are within touching distance, but their best attacker is yet to really appear in set number 4. To the whole team, they only have 7 kills in set number 4. To be fair, Dominican has 8. Both of these teams, it's errors on errors in this set. A lot of them service variety.
Yeah, if the Cougs want to come back here, again, like you said, they're very much within range. It's only a 3-point deficit they have to make up. But they need Tyler Hollaback to come back and start performing at the level that he was doing in sets 1, 2, and 3. And they need him to start landing the good shots and not having so many errors. They need him to just be on his game.
Good news for the Cougars around the NAC. One of their biggest threats to being knocked out of the playoffs is Concordia, Wisconsin. And the Falcons currently 3 points away from dropping their match tonight to the Benue Eagles. The Falcons, the only team that hold a 1-1 tiebreaker over the Cougars that are currently out of the playoffs. As that Hirsch serves that across, Gato receives off the roof. Cardenas to Hoffman, blocked and out. Unorthodox again for Concordia. And that's what they need out of the timeout. Some persistence to stay in it. Hoffman back for the serve.
Yeah, it may not have been exactly how you drew it up with the play off the wall, but you'll take it.
Hoffman gets it across. Henderson to Morrow to Geschke. Gato can't receive cleanly. Hollaback saves it. Hoffman can't get it across. Another one for Dominican. They lead by 3. It's 18-15 now.
That was a fantastic save by Hollaback, but then Hoffman just wasn't able to track it down. He made contact, but he was just in no real position to get it over the net.
Morrow will send this across. Hollaback receives. Mosher, a dump off. Morrow's there. Henderson sets for Castiglione, just pushes it forward. Mosher for Stella. Straight to Damin. Morrow going for Castiglione. Hoffman receives. Mosher passing for Stella, mid-ranger. No one's there! Stella finds the gap in the D. We'll trade again. And the Cougars, 2-point deficit forward, dropping back for the serve.
Cougars keeping it close. And again, that was just a great play by Stella. Henderson was too far back. He made a diving play on the ball, but it was just out of his fingertips.
Ford sends that over. Morrow setting for Castiglione. Blocked and down! Get up, Guzowski! Cougars back within 1.
And that is that front line of the Cougars. We've been talking all night. They have been able to pull their weight. That makes it 10 blocks for the Cougars front line.
Ford will send that across again. Damin receives. Morrow setting for Geschke, who's blocked, but it's blocked out of bounds. And Dominican takes that back, and they take a 2-point lead back. It's 19-17 Stars.
Yeah, the Cougars just blocked it straight out. Hoffman, reaching arm, tried to make a play on it, but just wasn't able to with the direction the ball was going.
Geschke tosses it up and sends it to the bottom of the net. Way too much on top of it. So the Cougars catch a gift. They trail by 1, 19-18. Got to capitalize on it now. Eli Mosher at the service line for Concordia. Sent over. Damin, Morrow going for Greco. No trade again. Back to a 2-point game. It's 20-18. Dominican more than happy to trade points right now.
And again, the Cougars had the possession off the Dominican error, but they weren't able to do anything with it. That's something that they have to work on here throughout the remainder of set 4 and potentially set number 5.
Barnett across. Gato to Mosher, setting up Stella. That will drop. Zigzagging over the Dominican side. We trade points again. Cougars back down by 1. Stella with the serve. Concordia needs to pick up some consecutive points now.
Yeah, they're down 1. They need to start stringing the points together to make a final push.
Stella trades balls. They'll toss it up, send it over. Morrow setting for Damin. A great decoy with Hirsch. Dominican now 4 away. It's 21-19.
That was a picture-perfect decoy. They faked that it was Damin, and then Hirsch was the one that came in with the shot and the point. And now the Stars just need 4 points to win the match.
Castiglione with the serve, received by Cardenas. Mosher sets for Hollaback. How about that? Hollaback finally comes through in set number 3. The Cougars stop Castiglione's scoring run before it can begin. They're still down by 1, though. Gudzowski back with the serve. They'll send it over. Henderson tomorrow. Setting for Castiglione! Hammered down! Ford and Hoffman! We're all even at 21!
Ford and Hoffman have just been going toe-to-toe with the rejections, and they're making the Stars call a timeout, and we are all knotted up here at 21.
First timeout of the set, Doug Burchett. He doesn't want his team to fall behind. He wants to end this game. Now, the Cougars have been playing Dominican close all night, and they've evened it back up at 21. Tyler Hollaback killless in the entirety of that set, finally getting on the board with that one. That is an important one. First time the Cougars have won a point have gotten consecutive points.
Just when the Cougs needed Tyler Hollaback to show up, he did. He had the big hit, and then Hoffman and Ford responded with a big block to tie it. And now coming out of this timeout, the Cougars need to keep the momentum on their set. They need to keep the big shots falling. They need to keep the big blocks going.
The most interesting thing with those blocks, I wouldn't say the Cougars are winning the front line, but you split that front line in 2 spots. Blocks, the Cougars have actually been winning 11 blocks on the night for Concordia. Dominican has been winning the offensive end of that front line entirely off of Thomas Hirsch, and Hirsch, to his credit, only has 1 kill in this set as well. But the Cougars, they've been blocking well all game, and it's gotten them into an even game now. We're back on the court, 21-21 game. Cougars trailing 2-1. Need a win in set number 4 to push this to set number 5 to stay alive. Gudzowski back for the serve. He'll send that over. Geschke, Dahmen, a tough shot. Cardenas to Mosher, setting for Hoffman. Tipped and out! And the Cougars are back in front at 22-21.
Cougars now in the midst of a 3-0 run. They got that first big point coming out of the timeout, got the deflection, and now they're in the driver's seat.
Gudzowski with the serve again. Geschke to Morrow, setting Hirsch. Cardenas, poor reception. And we're back even at 22.
Just not a good reception by Cardenas. He hit it back and to the left, and there were several Cougars giving chase, but they just weren't able to catch up to the ball in time.
Dahmen holding the serve, and Greg Manos will call his final timeout of the set.
And this is still 22-22. We've seen both of these teams go on 3-0 runs, so this could be over in the next 3 points, and it could be either team that does it. It could be the Cougs scoring 3 straight to send us to set number 5. It could be Dominican scoring 3 straight points to send everyone home.
And I think I have the biggest deep cut now of the jerseys up in the bleachers.
Bill George
up on the top. Bill George, and he's a Hall of Famer, but a linebacker from back in the 50s for the Bears, 60s for the Bears and Rams. Hall of Fame induction in 74. Over 50 years since he was inducted. That is a deep cut on the top row.
Yeah, in the front row you got a more common jersey. You got 54 Brian Urlacher, but yeah, I saw that 61 earlier and I was like, wait a second, who is that? So yeah, bit of a deep cut.
There's also an Io DeSunmu jersey out there. Cougars repping the variety on the jerseys tonight. As we come back to the court, 22-22. We're all evened up. We're 3 points away from 25. Dahmen back to serve for Dominican. He'll toss it up. He'll send it across. Hoffman receives straight across. Geschke setting over to Kasulki. Castiglione back row. Now Gato to Hollabeck, keeps it up. Henderson passing to Geschke, blocked, down! The Cougars are back in front!
The Cougars just keep getting the blocks when they need them the most.
Concordia leads 23-22. Tyler Hollabeck with the serve for Concordia. Henderson to Morrow. The first error of the night for Thomas Hirsch. He hits it out, and the Cougars have reached set point. Doug Burchett calls his final timeout. And Concordia roars back in set number 4.
Up until that point, Thomas Hirsch was perfect, not a single error, and that's the worst possible time for him to have one if you're the Stars. Just flawless all night, 13 kills, no errors. Now 13 kills, 1 error.
I mean, it's that front line again, another block, 12 blocks on the night, 5 on the set for the Cougars. They have won the defensive battle at the front line tonight. And they're now 1 point away from taking set 4 and sending us to set number 5. I mean, but Cougars have been at set point once before. They had a 6-point lead there. Dominican took 3 straight points. 3 straight points now for Dominican would be sending us to extra volleyball in set number 4. So the Cougars don't have that breathing room. They got to make it quick. But the good news, they've got momentum. They've got a 2-0 run. Just got to get that 3rd point.
Yeah, they just need to get that one more to get us to set number 5. It doesn't have to be a pretty point. It doesn't have to be some beautiful sequence of events. It just has to be 1 point.
And back out to the court. Cougars have the serve for set point. It's Hollabeck with the serve. Ayafa Reese, one of the team's captains, calling for the bleachers to get loud. Hollabeck across. Henderson to Morrow. Setting for Hirsch. Hollabeck. Cardenas keeps it up. Gato! Across! Now Geschke to Gato. Mosher setting for Hoffman. Henderson has to send it over. Cardenas. Mosher gets it! We're going to set 5! And the Cougars will not be denied!
I think they called that over the net on the Cougs. I think they called the Cougs on being
So the Dominican gets the refs to clutch up. And the Boo Birds are coming down loud in Geisman. Hirsch has the serve. Hollabeck to Mosher. Sets for Ford, a tipper. Mosher to Gato. Sets for Ford. Kasoki to Damin to Geschke. Hollabeck. Mosher. Here's Hoffman. Kasoki to Greco. Blocks. Ball don't lie! Ball don't lie! We're going to set 5! Greco can't get out of his own way. And the Cougars take set 3 at 25-23.
Dominican got lucky with the over-the-net call, but in the end, they literally just couldn't get out of their own way. Cougars win. We are heading to set 5. 15 points left to play.
Concordia turning it on for that last stretch of points. I mean, you can go back to whether or not it was a good call or not, but that rally that the Cougars could have won when it was 24-22, that's some of the best defense you'll see in a volleyball match. I mean, the team touching all 4 corners, got Hollabeck tipping it, Cardenas at the back line, and then Gato one-handed slap from all the way in the far corner underneath the 60th anniversary sign to the back line to keep it in, to force Damin to make a play. I mean, Concordia making it a 5-set match. We get bonus volleyball. It'll be a sprint in Geisman when we come back right after this break. After this break, Welcome back to the Cougars Sports Network. It's set number 5 in River Forest. Concordia fighting Dominican to the last breath. And we got a sprint. It's first to 15 to take the Division Street rivalry for 2025. Dominicans take set 1. Cougars take set 2. Dominican take set 3. Cougars take set 4. And Concordia is going to look to break that pattern in set number 5.
Yeah, the Cougs trying to for set 5 to be the first odd one they win. And the Stars hoping to keep it going for them to take the 3rd straight odd-numbered set. But man, we just coming off a whirlwind finale to set number 4. Both teams are settling down now. You're not at set point now. Now it's just the first one to 15.
And the Cougars will start with the serve. It's J.R. Stella back with the serve. And Stella turned it on a lot in set 3 and 4. He's at 9 kills on the night. And he'll send this first serve across. Morrow will set for Casaleon. Now he'll set for Daman. And the Cougars draw first blood.
Cougars get on the board here first in set number 5. They get the good hit. Dominican can't do anything with it. And now J.R. Stella serving once again.
Stella tosses it up and fires it over. So we'll trade opening points. It's 1-1 off the Stella service error. Cougars, they'll take a 1-1 trade. And now it'll be Ryan Barnett with the serve for Dominican. Barnett across. Gato to Mosher, setting for Godzowski. Has to reach for it. Now Mosher, he'll set for Hoffman. Barnett setting up Daman. Gato. Mosher. Here's Hollaback. Blocked, but Dominican's in the net. Call goes on Daman. And the Cougars stay in front 2-1.
Daman was trying to be as close as possible to stop that incoming Tyler Hollaback shot. Unfortunately for him, he just ended up being a little bit too close.
Godzowski back with the serve. They'll send it over. Morrow for Casaleon. That's off the block and out. Tied up 2-2 now. We trade in the first 4 points of set 5. It's Casaleon back with the serve for the Stars.
Casaleon's got 3 service aces so far on the night, trying to make it 4.
Cardenas to Mosher, setting Hollaback a tapper. Hollaback has to save it. Cardenas, Hollaback has to hit it back. Morrow to Hirsch, and Hirsch gets back on his horse. It's 3-2 Dominican.
Big shot by Hirsch, just right into the middle of the floor to pick up the first consecutive points by either team here in set number 5.
Back for the serve is Casaleon again. Hollaback receives off the ceiling. Mosher setting for Hollaback. And that's a kill! Henderson tried to save it and tips off and out of bounds to the back wall. And Concordia ties it up 3-3.
Hollaback kind of disappeared for the first chunk of set number 4, but then came big in at the end.
Hollaback serves across. Henderson to Morrow. Now Mosher passing to Hollaback. A tapper! Morrow saves it. Henderson serving up for Casaleon. The mid-range push. Hollaback, Mosher, a tapper! Alex Ford, another one! And the Cougars are in front 4-3.
The tippy-tap play by the Cougars. Dominican clearly not expecting. They were expecting another power shot. The Cougars zigged when the Stars thought they were going to zag.
Henderson receives straight over. The Cougars upset there's no call. Dominican gets the point.
To me, that looked like the Dominican player's arm was pretty clearly over the net.
I mean, Morrow slammed that down into the net, kept contact with it as it came off the net, and I don't know volleyball well enough to know if that's a carry, but it sure looked like it. As Daman serves, Hoffman receives. Mosher setting for Ford, blocked. Hollaback's there. Mosher sets for Ford again. This time it's a tapper. Henderson Tomorrow, setting for Geschke. Down on the edge, and the Stars are back in front.
That was a great shot by Geschke. Saw the open area on the far side and was able to keep the ball in.
Damin will serve again. Dominican on a 2-0 run. Taking his time. Now he'll toss up and send over. Hoffman can't receive cleanly. It's a 2-point lead for Dominican, largest of the set.
And that makes it service ace number 5 for Tanner Damin.
Now get a timeout from Greg Manos. Dominican's on a 3-0 run. Manos is going to try and kill it when we come back after this break. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. 6-4 lead for Dominican. Tanner Damin's on a 3-0 run. And he'll serve it up once again. After he takes his time again. It's over. Hoffman receives. Mosher sets for Hoffman. Castiglione tomorrow over to Geschke. Gato. Mosher tries to dump. Hirsch to Geschke. Cougars keep it up. Gato passes over. Hirsch. Morrow sets for Geschke. Gato over Hirsch. Weird tap. Here's Geschke. Cardenas to Mosher. Setting for Hollaback. Roaring in for a kill.
And the Cougars get the big point coming out of the break. They cut off the Dominican scoring run and get possession back on their side.
That's how you come out of a timeout. Tough. Grinded set point victory, and now Hoffman will serve for Concordia. Henderson tomorrow setting Geschke, and Stars will take it right back.
Geschke just placing it in the gap where there wasn't a Cougar in sight.
Now it'll be Hirsch with the serve. Landon Kosuki coming back into the game. Freshman out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Now Hirsch sends it over. Hollaback to Mosher, setting Stella. Damin, Kosuki, here's Geschke. Hoffman receives. Mosher setting forward. Kosuki has to set Greco. It's straight back over from Gato. Kosuki with the set again. Here's Geschke. Gato, too much on the reception. And it's a 3-point lead for the Stars.
Gato was just making that play out of reflex to save the ball from going out of bounds. Unfortunately for him, the shot just carried as now the two teams trading sides as Dominican halfway to victory in set number 5.
And now that brings us halfway through set 5. Swap sides of the court. Dominican up 8-5. Cougars, they've been down before. They were down this much in set 4. But you got to start getting your way back soon. You only got 15 points to top it off in this final set.
Yeah, at this point, you can't really afford to go point for point with the Stars. You need to string together a run of your own if you're the Cougs.
Hirsch across, Hollaback to Mosher, setting forward, blocked! Great block for Greco, and it's now a 4-point lead for Dominican.
And for Dominican, the end is in sight. They can smell it. They only need 6 more points.
Hirsch across again. Hoffman to Mosher. Here's Stella, and he'll bring it back to the Cougars. J.R. Stella reaches double digits, his 10th kill of the night.
And the Cougs still only down 3. We've seen them go on 3-point runs earlier in this match. They just need to string one of those together now.
Ford with the serve, gets it over. That's a poor reception. Now Hollebeck to Stella. Henderson passing for Geschke. That's tipped. That's out. And Dominican back to a 4-point lead.
I was just off the hand of, I think, Marcin Hoffman. Didn't get a good contact with the ball, and it just soared backwards.
4-point lead for Dominican. And they're only 5 away from winning the match. Hollebeck receives. Mosher, a dump off. That's what you need. Cougars trade it back. They're back down by 3, and now you got to convert it into a run.
Just a fantastic play by Mosher, but like you said, now the Cougars need to take advantage and get a few points on this possession.
Mosher will have the serve. And that's not what you need. He sends it into the net. And the Stars catch another gift. They've been getting lucky lately. And they're only 4 away from winning the match. Geschke with the serve. Sends it over. Hoffman receives. Mosher with the set. And it's a poor set. Eli Mosher is off his game. Greg Manos recognizes it, and he'll call timeout. His team's only 3 points away from falling.
Yeah, clearly Mosher rattled a little bit. He had the serve into the net, and then with that set there, I couldn't tell what happened. It looked like he tried to hit it up, and it just went off his fingertips or off his elbow, but no matter what, Dominican got a point to put themselves just 3 away from victory.
Cougars trailing by 5. You don't got much space in set number 5 to claw back a deficit. There's going to be a tall order for Concordia to climb back into this one.
Yeah, if you're the Cougs, now you just need to go on a run. You need to score 4, 5 straight points. Preferably just score 8 in a row to call a game and send the crowd, the Concordia side of the crowd home happy at least, but you need to score at least 3 or 4 points in a row to stay in this. Meanwhile, Dominican now, they just need to string 3 more together, and they have the win. They make their push for the top of the rankings a little bit easier.
Dominican takes to the court. They got a 5-point lead. They have been strong in the middle part of set number 5. The Cougars, they have been sliding. And now Geschke dropping back to serve again is going to press the Cougars on the defensive. Geschke tosses up, sends it over. And that's a break. That's something you need. Geschke into the net. The Cougars get some luck of their own. And now Stella will drop back to serve. He's had some good serves. He's also had some bad ones. And now J.R. Stella is going to need to be great at the line. Tosses up, sends it over. Henderson to Morrow, setting Domin. Blocked! Hammered from Hollebeck!
A big-time shot by Hollebeck. The Cougs now only trail 3.
Back to a 3-point game. Stella retaining the serve.
And now Ty Geschke leaving the game for the Stars, which is interesting. He has been their big player tonight.
Stella up and over. Received by Dahmen. Morrow setting for Greco. Mosher receives. Gato setting for Hollebeck. It's a long set. But it's miscommunication from the Stars. The Cougars are within 2. Coach Burchett calls his first timeout. The Cougars, exactly the response they needed out of the timeout.
And say what you want about the Cougars tonight, they will not go away. Every time Dominican goes up, the Cougars come roaring back. They are not going down without a fight.
Yeah, and J.R. Stella strong at the line. Tyler Hollebeck out to 21 kills on the night with that one. And, I mean, you looked at when the Cougars have been at their best. You looked when they were struggling earlier in this set. It's the consistency and cleanliness on the defense. Struggled there for a bit. Now they've turned that back on out of that timeout. And they've made those good plays, and they've worked themselves back up to a 2-0 deficit. There is still a good chunk of work to do for this Cougars team, but it sure looks a lot more manageable now.
Oh, yeah. Trailing by 2 with 5 points to go looks way better than trailing by 5 with 8 points to go. So the Cougars will take it. They have momentum. They just need to execute. No more mistakes, no more errors from this point out. They got to be perfect.
And as we come out of the timeout, it's J.R. Stella with the serve. Good news for the Cougars. Concordia, Wisconsin did lose to Benedictine. Now Stella will serve it across. Up. Over. Henderson, poor reception. Mosher will set for Hoffman. Another one! 4 in a row, and the Cougars are within 1.
Whatever Greg Manos told his team in that timeout worked, because they came out of that on a run. They scored 4 straight points, and just like that, it is 11-12.
Cougars were down 5, 12-7. They've made it 12-11. J.R. Stella will look to stay high at the line. It's up. It's over. It's an ace for J.R. Stella! We're even at 12.
Up until that point, J.R. Stella had 1 ace on the night, and what a perfect time for him to get ace number 2.
And Geisman is rocking. Coach Burchett calls his final timeout. This is the most excited this stadium has been all season for this volleyball team, maybe even all year. You go across these sports, I mean, basketball, they had some thrillers at home. Most of their thrillers came on the road. Volleyball, they're having a fire home finale. They are giving these fans a treat.
Doesn't matter if you're a Dominican fan or a Cougar fan, you are getting what you paid for. You are getting a fantastic, potentially all-time great volleyball match from these two teams.
And, you know, OPRF High School, not able to see it. It is a school night.
Understandable.
They had to go home. But the Cougars, they're still up. They don't care if they've got classes tomorrow. They're looking to finish off a big win over Dominican. It's all even at 12. Marcin Hoffman now at 10 kills himself. 3 Cougars in double digits. Coach Burchett, he needs his team to come out of the timeout strong. The momentum is against them. Right now, Cougars come back out to a roar from the bleachers, and Concordia is coming up onto their feet.
This crowd can feel it.
Stella still with the serve. It's up. It's over. Morrow setting for Castiglione. Mosher keeps it up. Gato, long set for Hollaback. Who just has to push it over. Geschke to Morrow to Greco. It's kept up. And they're going to call a carry. And the Cougars are fired up. Coach Manos is fired up. And this is what you can't have from the officials. They have not been calling this all night on the Stars.
Are you kidding me? Admittedly, I don't know everything about volleyball. That didn't look like a carry to me.
And either way, the argument is that Mosher hit it with a fist. And now he's going over to the far sideline official to argue it.
If I'm Coach Manos, I am livid.
The Cougars are fired up, and rightly so. They don't win the call. Dominican, they catch a big break. And now the Cougars are going to be angry as Ryan Barnett drops for the serve. It's 13-12 Dominican.
That is a call.
It's not a great call. Cougars got to move on from it. They're looking to respond strong. Barnett with the serve. Gets it across. Mosher sets for Hollaback. Ball! Don't lie! We're tied up at 13.
We said it earlier on a questionable call. We'll say it again. The ball doesn't lie, and the Cougars have tied this up again at 13 apiece.
Anytime things don't go your way, there's always one goal. You win in the face of adversity, and the Cougars, with Godzowski serving, looking to do that. Morrow sets for Hirsch. Kept up by Mosher. Cardenas setting for Hoffman. And it's too far to the side. And it is set point. And we're going to have a discussion from the officials. The corner judge saying it's in.
From the angle, honestly, from
so
here I
call
couldn't
pending.
tell.
One of these teams will be at set point.
In the moment, from this angle, I couldn't tell. But, oh boy.
Cougars looking to catch a break.
Because this is big. Because whatever team that gets this, you'll need 1 point to win. For the other team, now you need 3 to win.
Right. Dominican trying to get involved in the conversation.
Yeah. Burchett sending number 9, Aaron Mars over there.
Now Charlie T. Cougar getting involved in the conversation with some cash. Point it right! It's a tip!
And they're not saying it hit the line. They're calling a tip on the Stars. Cougar
Coach
points.
Burchett is not happy. Aaron Mars is very much having a discussion with the official. He's coming back over to his coach now.
If I'm Burchett, you got several lucky calls that should not have gone your way.
Now, both of these teams have bones to pick with the officials, but it doesn't matter. Geisman is on their feet. There's a yellow card on Coach Burchett now. Mars has to come back over to the official. And Dominican now, in a must-win point, has to deal with chaos from their head coach.
Burchett's been composed all night. He's losing it here.
So now we're ready to go. Geisman on its feet. Set point. Grozovsky with the serve. It's up. It's over. Morrow for Carceleon. Grozovsky keeps it alive. Mosher gets it over. Henderson to Morrow, setting for Carceleon. We're getting extra volleyball in set number 5.
It's been such an insane match. I guess it only makes sense that here in set number 5, we'd be going just a little bit longer.
Carceleon back to serve for the Stars. It's up. And when they needed him most, he vanished. The Cougars back to being 1 point away from winning the match.
And Tyler Hollaback, the main man for the Cougars all day tonight.
Hollaback across. And it's an error. These two teams trade errors an inch away for Tyler Hollaback. Geschke back on the court. And it'll be Dahmen with the serve. Dahmen had that 5-0 run for Dominican earlier in the set.
He's got 6 service aces.
It's up. It's over. Cardenas receives. Mosher setting for Hollaback. Blocked. Gato's there. Here's Mosher again. Going Moffman now.
It's down!
And the Cougars back to set point. It's 16-15 Concordia.
And for the Cougs, they're hoping third time's the charm.
Geisman back on their feet. Hoffman back with the serve. It's over. Henderson to Morrow. Going for Hirsch. Hoffman keeps it up. Mosher, a dumper. Henderson up for Geschke. We're going to 17 points.
And again, we march on. Man.
Dominican fighting to stay alive. 16-16, Hirsch with the serve. Serves up, over. Hollaback, Mosher, Stella. Oh, rocket! Off of Carceleon! Stella is stellar! And the Cougars are back to being 1 point away.
All Carceleon could do was take it off the chest. And again, for the 4th time, the Cougars have a chance to win it.
Alexander Ford with the serve. Geisman on its feet. It's up. It's over. Morrow sets for Geschke. Hollaback. Mosher. Stella. Carceleon. Mosher, Geschke. Ford keeps it up. Stella. Morrow, Geschke. Mosher keeps it up. Mosher sets for Hollaback. Henderson up. That's it! Concordia takes it in 5. Cougars win 18-16. Buy your stocks in the Cougars. This is a special team. And Concordia takes down the Stars. They win the Division Street rivalry 3-2 in 5.
Jonathan, I've watched a lot of sports in my life. This is one of the greatest games out of any event I've ever seen, and certainly the best one I've ever had the honor of being in person for.
That top 4, Aurora, Benedictine, MSOE, Dominican. No one outside of that top 4 has beaten the team in that top 4. Well, the Cougars have done it. They win a thrilling home finale over the Stars in 5 sets, 18-16 in set 5.
And that top 4 you mentioned, if I'm any one of those teams, I am looking over my shoulder at this Cougars team. They are hot. They are playing the best volleyball they have all season. This makes it 6 dubs in a row. They are looking unstoppable.
I mean, this is a special team. 5 wins in a row, 4 conference wins in a row. You take down one of the top teams in the conference. And the Cougars now up to 6-5 on the season. And that goes a long way towards clinching that playoff berth. And teams got to look over their shoulders for the Cougars. They're going to have to do it in the postseason.
Man, just in the big moments, the Cougars got the big plays. Tyler Hollaback, Marcin Hoffman, J.R. Stella, they got the job done. The Cougars were down, might I remind you, 12-7 in set 5. They came roaring back.
And that does do it. The Cougars clinch their second ever trip to the postseason in a thrilling 5-set win over Dominican University. You came here for the Division Street rivalry and you got the best of it. Illinois Tech at 6-5, the Cougars at 6-5 now. Marion drops to 5-6. Edgewood drops to 5-6 tonight. Wisconsin Lutheran and Concordia, Wisconsin dropping to 4-7 tonight. No one is able to knock the Cougars out of the playoffs now. This is a special team. Buy your stocks in Concordia. The Cougars, they're going to the postseason.
I'm so excited I could hug you, Jonathan. Wow.
I mean, we'll run through some of those highlights before we head to a post-game interview. Tyler Hollaback, he had the game-winning kill. He had 23 kills on the night. Marcin Hoffman, 12. Jackson Stella, 11. Over on Dominican side, Ty Geschke with 20. And a career night for Thomas Hirsch. Full credit to the sophomore. He played out of his mind. 15 kills, only 1 error, a 560 hit percentage. And Concordia at their best, right when they need to be in the end of conference season, a 4-game conference win streak. They clinch a playoff spot, and the Cougars are going to the postseason. They'll be back in action they'll be back in action this Friday. They travel to take on Marion in Fond du Lac, looking to clinch and try and clinch the 5 seed in the playoffs. A rematch with this Dominican squad, but instead down the street at Dominican. Now do it here at the Cougar Sports Network. A huge thank you to everyone who helped make tonight possible. Dave Dimling on scoreboard, Corey Welch, our assistant SID, our libero, Lindley Southern, our spotter, Samantha on camera, Courtney Schreider and Sasha Gonzalez, our producers, Abby Kulig on stats. Our head sports information director is Kayla McLeod. I'm Jonathan Shear on air with Eric Perry tonight for the best of the Division III rivalry. Concordia Chicago takes down Dominican University 3-2 in 5, but we are not done yet. Make sure to stay with us as we head to a post-game interview with a victorious Concordia Chicago volleyball team. What's up, Cougar Nation? I'm Jonathan Shear with the Cougar Sports Network here after a thrilling Division Street rivalry. Concordia Chicago taking down the Stars 3-2 in 5 sets, and I'm here with victorious Coach Manos. Coach Manos, I just want to get your first thoughts coming off of a win like that, just right off rip.
This is the most fun I've ever had in this building. Obviously, we support all the sports, but I got to tell you, this is the most people I've seen in here for one of our games. It was electric between the fan base, between our players. I'm so proud of our guys, of this institution. There was so much good that happened today, and I'm so happy to see them go about their business that way. So I just got to say, the amount of pride and appreciation we have, that's number one for sure.
That is one of the most exciting games that Concordia Chicago has played any sport recent memory. Your team, resilient, taking down one of the top teams in the conference. You guys are the only team in the NAC outside of the top 4 to take down a team in that top 4 now. And, doing it, you've now clinched your second postseason trip as head coach of this Cougars team as well. And, we said your team's resilient. That set 5, you were down 5 points, 12-7 at one point. You win it 18-16. You've talked a lot this year about your team, getting more experience, maturing, building that ability to adapt, to persevere. Is this what you've wanted them to build to?
It's so humbling to watch them grow up across the season, mature, get better as a group, as a unit. And it's so exciting because it's our underclassmen pushing through. It's our older guys. As a collective unit, they persevered. And I just got to give them so much credit. Sorry, I'm out of breath, too, here because of how much excitement. But even when their backs were against the wall, they didn't give up. They rode the ship. They did what they were told to do as far as being consistent, what they needed to do as far as X's and O's, and they nailed it. And I'm so happy to see them push through that line, okay?
Your team 2-5 in conference play at one point. Now you're 6-5. You're in the playoffs. Your guys are playing the best they've ever played. You look at tonight's game, Dominican playing very well tonight, but your guys playing well as well. Not a single set your team hit below 50%. And, it's like you mentioned, you guys have experience. It's the younger guys. It's the older guys. I'm going to give you the opportunity. Shout out some of those guys you're most impressed with tonight from tonight's performance.
Tyler was a rock tonight. He's been steady Eddie across the season, but to see him get that last point, it just shows to what he's been able to do with this program, whether it's his individual contribution or his ability to raise the team, keep them intense and motivated. So he did a great job. And then some of us other guys like Eli Mosher went through it all. The amount of steps he took today, the amount of jumps, I know he's about beat, and I understand that. But he, in addition to just making his team be in a situation to win the game, he really put his foot forward, his body on the line, and he allowed that contribution to give other people success.
Definitely. And now, moving onwards from here, you've clinched the postseason. You head out for your regular season finale this Friday up in Fond du Lac to take on Marian University. And from there, it's the postseason. What's the mindset now? What are you focusing on? What are you going to tell your guys as you go through the rest of this season?
It's a quick turnaround between now and Friday. You talk about the distance, traveling, and being on a road situation. They're going to be in a situation where they need to win, right? Regardless of what happened tonight, we know we're going to get the best version of them. So it's our opportunity now to get as much rest, recovery as quickly as we can, and just make sure we're getting better on Friday. Because the reality is we might have clinched, but we can't be satisfied with tonight. This is a 6-game win streak for us, 5 straight in the NAC. There's no reason to back down at this point because we got to ramp up for conference play. And the reality, too, is we could go back to Dominican potentially, somewhere close. If we get that opportunity, we need to be in a position to get the best version of the other side of the net as well. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. And again, congratulations on a massive win for your team tonight in your home finale. Thank you all for joining us on the Cougar Sports Network. Like we just talked about, Cougars back in action this Friday taking on Marian University. You'll be able to catch that action on CUCougars.com. Catch anything you missed, including tonight's thrilling matchup with the Stars. Also on CUCougars.com. Thank you for joining us on the Cougar Sports Network. Make sure to join us next time, and as always, roll Cougs.
for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.